All right, I'm here to possibly poke holes in some great PM guys that are number one in the PM field about this BRICS thing and how the GDP of Africa is flowing to BRICS, and BRICS is this and BRICS is that. It looks like the BRICS are sinking to the bottom of the ocean because there's a new monetary system kicking off in Africa. It's not BRICS, and it's not the dollar, and it's not the euro. They're coming up with their own money system, their own GDP money system, separate from BRICS, most likely going to kick South Africa out and start their own money system devoid of BRICS and the dollar. Oh my God. How could all these famous PM people not see this? And Neil from Neil's on Dynasty has been telling you BRICS go to the bottom of the water when thrown in water. Water's rising. Do you really want to be in a brick in rising waters? It's an analogy, but the story I'm fixing to show you will tell you Africa doesn't give a crap about BRICS. There's not one mention of this report of BRICS, and 5 or 6 African nations are switching currencies from the French-backed euro to their own money system, not BRICS, not BRICS, not BRICS. And they will be a larger GDP in Africa than South Africa. So, everyone who thinks South Africa and BRICS is going to be so great because of the GDP, y'all being fooled, and y'all really need to go to school because y'all need to watch Neil's on Dynasty. Here's my facts.
War. African nations pursued independence as a better means of challenging Western dominance. Witnessing Africa gain independence would be a significant blow to the West, as it would remove their control over the continent. The first step towards independence was the introduction of a new currency to break free from the French colonial currency.
Hold on, what? They're creating their own currency? But BRICS is in Africa. BRICS is the largest GDP. BRICS is the gold brick in the gold bricks of gold of BRICS. And they're saying, screw gold BRICS. We don't want nothing to do with BRICS. BRICS is a brick that's going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. Hey, I'm not saying it. That's what Africa is saying. The largest GDP coming up, not BRICS.
However, who was the secret figure behind initiating this move? Several West African nations are boldly taking steps to break away from the French-backed CFA franc, indicating a shift in their monetary strategies. This collective decision stems from the desire to sever long-standing ties with France and promote regional economic growth. The countries leading this change include Benin, Burkina Faso, Guinea-Bissau, Ivory Coast, Mali,
5,
Niger,
6,
Senegal,
7
and
countries,
Togo.
8 countries.
Their joint initiative involves establishing a new common
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look how big that is. Look at South Africa. South Africa's real small. Look at that. That is BRICS. Or no, that's BRICS representing all of this. And this large GDP, the largest GDP in Africa, is saying screw BRICS in South Africa. Just saying, people, watch your investments.
currency called ECO, which aims to reduce.
What? It's called ECO, but that's not BRICS. That's not BRICS. Holy cow, the largest GDP in Africa is not BRICS as of today. Oh my God.
Business costs and eliminate trade barriers within the region. This transition signifies the aspiration for greater economic independence by bidding farewell to the CFA franc, with these nations aiming to chart their own course towards self-reliance and regional integration.
Self-reliance? I thought BRICS was all about self-reliance. Why aren't they joining BRICS for self-reliance? Oh, I see. So do they. You guys need to.
The move goes beyond symbolism and represents a pragmatic approach to enhancing economic prospects. By pegging the ECO to the euro, with France ensuring its convertibility, these nations strike a careful balance between autonomy and international connectivity. Is the goal of African nations to decrease France's control over them? Undoubtedly, the decision of multiple African nations to transition away from the French-backed CFA franc and adopt the new ECO is a strategic move aimed at decreasing French control in Africa. when conditions call for discrete, concealable volume. This bold initiative is rooted in the pursuit of enhanced economic independence and greater regional integration.
So BRICS doesn't bring any of that to their table. Wow. So South Africa represents Africa, and African countries are telling South Africa, your BRICS is not the way to financial independence and freedom for Africa. Uh-oh. Someone has a communication problems with BRICS and South Africa controlling all of Africa. I wonder who gave South Africa all that power and put South Africa in the G20 to represent all of Africa that they do not represent. Rug pull. I said it first.
With the aim of disentangling these nations from historical ties with France. The ECO, pegged to the euro and backed by the Bank of France for convertibility, symbolizes a concerted effort to reshape the financial landscape in favor of African autonomy. While this currency shift represents...
Okay, so South Africa wants to represent all of the African countries in BRICS, and a majority of South African countries want autonomy from the US dollar and South Africa's GDP controlling BRICS. I have a prediction. South Africa will fall. Hold on, I've said that before. It's not a prediction, it's a fact. Buy BRICS.
Significant departure from the past. It is important to acknowledge that certain aspects of French influence may persist. How did France control African nations when they were using the French?
Holy cow, look at the size of that. Look at the size of that compared to South Africa's largest GDP. Little country down there at the very, very bottom that's going bankrupt and has no power for 50% of the day and is going bankrupt, controls the GDP of all these countries. All these countries are saying, screw you, South Africa, and the world that puts South Africa in control of all of these countries. All of these countries are saying, yeah, we'll do it ourselves. Devoid of BRICS that sink to the bottom of the ocean like Africa, South Africa.
French currency. During the era when African nations utilized the French currency, particularly the CFA franc, France exerted notable control over their economic and monetary policies. The establishment of the CFA franc in 1945 was a deliberate strategy by France to maintain economic dominance over its former African colonies. Initially tied to the French franc and later to the euro, the CFA franc system provided a mechanism through which France could exert influence over seemingly independent African countries. One key instrument of control was the requirement for African central banks to deposit a significant portion of their foreign currency reserves with France, granting France substantial leverage over their monetary policies and effectively shaping their economic trajectories. The close connection between the CFA franc and the French currency allowed France to maintain a stronghold on the economic affairs of its former colonies, despite their nominal independence. Moreover, French influence extended into the governance structures of these nations through representation in the bodies of the Central Bank of the West African Economic and Monetary Union.
And yet, instead of wanting to fight France and join BRICS, they're breaking away from France, telling BRICS to suck eggs, and starting their own financial system. All of these countries right here are saying screw BRICS and the dollar and France. Has anyone talked about what that's going to do to the economy of the world and BRICS?
Further reinforcing and institutionalizing French control over crucial decision-making processes related to monetary matters in the region. While recent modifications have occurred, such as renaming the currency to the ECO and removing some overt controls, France's financial influence over these African nations persists. Cooperative agreements have allowed for the reintroduction of French banking representatives and daily reporting requirements on central bank transactions to France, underscoring the enduring influence. Despite the appearance of change, it is evident that French involvement in the economic affairs of African nations remains a complex and enduring reality. What plans do African nations have to weaken France's currency grip on Africa? African nations are strategically planning to weaken France's hold on their economies.
And that's enough of this story, guys. Let me go ahead and get this volume back down so I can get to regular volume here. Anyhow, yeah, France still has a little bit of control, but you know what they're doing? Instead of backing and making these countries go to the dollar, they're allowing them to go independent with a monetary system that'll definitely change the history of economics for BRICS in Africa. Because what they're doing is they're taking power away from South Africa that was given to South Africa by the United Nations or the UN or someone, whoever put South Africa in G20 to represent all of Africa. Whoever that is, apparently France doesn't like, and they're basically economically killing South Africa's positioning in the world of finance by doing this. At least that's the appearance given. This definitely requires more research. I suggest you all be careful in your investment strategies because BRICS has a major contender in Africa, and it's not the dollar and it's not the euro. It's African countries breaking away from France and not giving a crap about BRICS. So they're going to come up with their own GDP money system that'll totally change all of your numbers for BRICS' GDP control. So be prepared in the future for a dynamic shift away from BRICS and the numbers they're giving you. Those numbers will fall and it won't look so impressive, but that's just my opinion. And I'm an uneducated iron worker, never finished school, and this is not financial advice. Have a great day.